demonise, ridicule and shame their victims. Just go and research it. The people, so we're talking the government here and their paid-off puppets, that you must wear these, and they know that they are bad for your health. Their own scientific and medical advisors have made them aware of this multiple times, including to us, the public, yet people just blindly comply. Why? Because they're scared of getting a fine. That's going to be the least of their worries! It's a good job these collaborators didn't fight in the Second World War, otherwise the world could have been full-blown fascist! Some might argue that's exactly where we are headed now! If it is that easy to agree to suffocate under a mask, what is next? An injection, a digital ID under the skin, or the mask wearer is going to shame the people who refuse to have an unknown substance injected into their bloodstream? Approximately 8 million children go missing every single year and are being trafficked into international paedophile rings that are somehow miraculously connected to the people behind this pandemic. These people are everywhere, from royalty, business, teaching, the charity sector, the media and film industry, and politicians. Did you know that UK MPs voted last month to protect the names of MPs who commit these crimes? Did you know that? Why would they want to do that?
And the police department as well.
Absolutely, the police department. It's everywhere, and we are going to stop it! So, I ask you all today, all of you, including the police,
Take the mask off! They don't stop viruses! You are being controlled by the government! Take them off! They don't work!
Look at all the science! There is no science for the masks! Check it out! Go on your computers,
Take the
check it
mask
out!
off!
Take the mask off! Take the mask off!
They don't stop viruses! You are being controlled!
Wake up, Birmingham!
Stop wearing the symbols of your oppression! Take the masks
Off! Up!
Take the
Mask off!
They do not stop viruses! The mask is on Muzzle, guys, it's on Muzzle. It's there to show subservience. Damages your health, reduces your oxygen intake, which is what you're designed to breathe in. It maximises your carbon dioxide intake. You're not meant to breathe that in. That's the previous one. Increases your acid in your blood, your pH. Damages your immune system, your white blood cell count, the marrow in your bones goes down.
Number 1, mind space. From the Institute for Government, it's a document that was created in 2010 by the British Gov, which discusses how mind control is used to influence the change of behaviour in society. That's mind space. Number 2, Operation Lockstep. Operation Lockstep is part of a wider document called Scenarios for the Future of Technology and International Development, written by the Rockefellers in 2010. Also known as the agenda behind COVID-19, everything that has been happening around you and is set to happen in the future is written in that document. These are the people at the top of the chain who have had the ways of the world set in plan for decades. They are years ahead of time, and I strongly encourage you all to read that document and to understand why our futures are at such stake. I'd also strongly encourage the following to be looked into. UK Column News, Dr. Rashid A. Buttar and Dr. Vernon Coleman. These are just 3 of the many credible, independent people out there who provide us with the truth that's been missing, who have our best interests at heart, and David Icke, and whose information does not deserve to be dismissed. It's time now, more than ever, for people of all ages everywhere to unite.
Tell us about the value of wearing face masks. You see face masks around the place. Is there any point to that?
If a healthcare professional hasn't advised you to wear a face mask, it's usually quite a bad idea. People tend to leave them on. They contaminate the face mask and then wipe it over something. So it's really not a good idea and doesn't.
The evidence around the use of masks by the general public, especially outdoors, is extremely weak.
We do not recommend face masks for general wearing.
The evidence on face masks has always been quite variable, quite weak.
The evidence is weak and the effect is small.
Face coverings will become mandatory.
In terms of wearing a mask, our advice is clear that wearing a mask if you don't have an infection really reduces the risk. Almost not at all. So,
for the United Kingdom, if you're watching from overseas, you can see that UK under Boris Johnson's Conservative government is no longer any form of democracy. There's no question of this. We're living in UK. We have no idea at the moment who is actually running Britain's government, but what we're watching has been described as a fascist state installing itself. We would agree with that. It's up to everybody who's now awake in UK to start challenging what's going on.
My name is Dr. Tapper. I'm in private practice in Omaha, Nebraska. I don't wear a mask. I see over 200 patients a week. I come in close proximity with every patient that I come across. Why haven't I contracted this so-called disease? Americans make up 5% of the world population, but yet we take in 65 to 70% of the world's pharmaceutical drugs. We are one of 2 countries that allows pharmaceutical advertisements on the television. But yet 80% of Americans are suffering with a chronic disease associated with poor lifestyle choices. 700,000 people will die of heart disease this year alone.
Doctor, please bring yourself in order.
600,000 people will die of cancer. 300,000 people will die of obesity this year. When is enough enough? If this is truly about health, then mandate healthy living, exercise, good food choices, chiropractic, outlaw tobacco and cigarettes, processed sugars. I believe it was Thomas Jefferson who stated, if people let the government decide what foods they eat and what medicines they take, their bodies will soon be in a sorry state as those souls who live under tyranny. You see, God made your body self-healing, self-regulating. If you give the body what it needs, it can be healthy. It is like the wilted plant that sits under the sun. An allopathic model to that is to shield the sun, to protect that plant against the sun, cut off its leaves, medicate or vaccinate that plant. But an epigenetic approach, a wellness approach, is to give that plant water, and it can be well. You see, your body is no different. We must eat well, move well, think well, and we can be well. In other words, your level of health is the genetic expression of your lifestyle choices. And I know full well that your body's ability to heal itself, to overcome disease and circumstances like corona, is far greater than anyone has ever permitted you to believe. Benjamin Rush, a signer of the Declaration of Independence, stated, unless we put medical freedom into the Constitution, a time will come when medicine will organize into an undercover dictatorship to restrict the art of healing to one class of men and deny equal privileges to others. That time is now.
It only works with us playing along. We need to govern ourselves as a community or as individuals, decentralise their power and partake in civil disobedience. Yes. Do not consent to anything that you know is wrong. If you consent to one thing, you will consent to the next. From the mask will lead to the vaccine, which will lead to complete and utter subservience. Here's a message to the state. Leave us be. We are not playing by your rules anymore. We have dropped out of your game. You do not govern us anymore. You are illegitimate and have hijacked this country. We do not wish to impose on anyone. We believe people are free to make their own choices. You can wear your masks, get tested, get the vaccine and whatever else you want to feel safe. But leave us to take our own risks, as that is part of living. But let me tell you this. If anybody tries to impose on us and come to our doors, make no mistake, many here will stand together and defend ourselves and each other, and protect each other. Many of us here today would rather die than live in your new world that you are trying to create. We are people of spirit and strength, like our ancestors once were. One of us is worth 100 of you. Don't ever underestimate the power and strength of people with integrity and conviction. We do not exist in fear, but we have chosen to live in love and truth in our hearts. Absolutely. We are a community who is in service of one another, a community of truth and hope, a community of love and support, a community for all those who may need it, a new light, a new home for our heart and for our soul. Thank you. Sorry that I went on a lot longer than I thought. But listen, there's a piece of paper on that table. I need everybody, put your names on there, put your emails, be part of the community. Let us know how you can contribute. To see how they have brainwashed us all in the UK. Read Operation Lockstep, Scenarios for the Future of Technology and International Development. Look at Event 201 and especially at the UN's Agenda 21. These documents and events are central to their campaign to change humanity. These are the meat and bones. Every other subject is distraction and merely symptoms of these papers, the actual disease. I will repeat, Event 201, Lockstep, Agenda 201, Agenda 21. Research them and read them well, and then come back and look into our eyes and tell us we are conspiracy theorists. It's unfolding and its tentacles are reaching far and wide, and it will not stop until it leaves nothing untouched. I ask the people on social media constantly sharing information and claim to know what the agenda is. Where are you today? If you haven't got the energy or drive to get off your sofas and come together in person and stand with us today, what makes you think you have the energy to defend yourself or your family when they come to your door? Which they will if this bulldozer of destruction is not stopped. It will keep going until you beg for a return to these days. Even these dark days now will seem like paradise to what is to come. Food shortages, business closures, universal credit, forced testing, vaccinations and restriction of